Give me just a moment here, and we will do this. We'll do this. We'll get rid of this. Good morning. It's Red Friday morning boogie with the bull morning caffeine, as we call it. Let's get rid of that and bring. No, let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way. There, Randy Rhodes and Dave Globen with you. We are live on the Boogie with the Bull uh, profile on or post on the Dave Globen profile is what I meant to say. We're live on the Dave Globen profile, and we are live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. You're more than welcome to watch it on either one that you wish. Both have a live chat, and give it a thumbs up if you like it as we go along. If you want to share it off of Facebook, go over and subscribe to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and take it. Share that anywhere you want. Anyway, we're live. And as I said, today is Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. A moment or two throughout the day, and send prayers to everyone in the United States military, both here in the United States and around the world, to thing. And as usual, we hope when they come back, are adequately supported and receiving any medical. They'll listen to us and they'll take care of people the way they should. And on that note, it's new and exciting for Friday, January 25.
Hey, I just want to do I don't want to call it a shout out, but a special notice because of what happened. And being this is a Red Friday, the three individuals who were in the Black Hawk helicopter who lost their lives. And it's like Captain Muckler's always saying, you never know when, okay, when you're called into duty, whether you be reservist, a National Guard, or active duty federal employee of the United States military. You never know when or how you're going to be put into active duty status and or get injured and or give up your life. What I'd like to do, Dave, is I have 4 images, 2 of the aircraft that crashed and 2 of the military personnel who are in public domain right now as being identified. The third one has not yet been identified, so I don't know who that person is. But I would like to give special attention to these people and to give the people in your audience an idea of what the aircraft look like, okay?
Okay. I just want to understand that we want to give everybody in this because not all of the information is out. We don't know who wandered into the way of who, and it's just as bad that people on the American Airlines jet passed away as well. So it's not just because it's Red Friday we're going to focus on the Black Hawk helicopter. We're going to try to get you all the facts as we go along because that's what we try to do. But normally you have to add a camera to
Here we go.
So once you do that,
there we go.
Okay, hang on. Let me get Randy.
Okay, so folks,
that camera.
Now that's not the same, obviously, helicopter, but that is a Black Hawk helicopter, military, very powerful. It's been in service, I think, like 45 plus years. People in Vietnam during the war said that helicopter right there saved a hell of a lot of lives because of the flexibility of it and the sheer destructive guns that's on it. What I also want to show you is the plane. Did I lose that? Here it is. I want to show you the plane. If I can get it moving over here. There we go.
The plane.
Ha 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 ha. You're not short enough. So this is the plane. Again, not the actual one, but one just like it. American Eagle plane with 60 passengers and 4 crew members who lost their lives in this absolute tragic accident. I do have make this smaller so I can get rid of it. Bum bum bum. I got this. Here we go. This picture here is of Staff Sergeant Ryan O'Hara. He was the cruise chief guy. Okay, so Jerry mentioned how very important his position was, that this guy here would know everything about the helicopter, all its abilities, and all this to fly it. So this person here was very important member of that helicopter crew. And lastly, I have this guy here. If I can get it moving, come on. Well, can we do it this way then? It won't move to the screen, so let me change screens.
Okay.
Uh, Hang on one second.
I'm waiting for you to send
Yep,
me the
yep.
other
Here it
screen.
is. Getting it. There we
Okay.
go.
Okay. Take your time.
Boom.
Yep. Take your time. We have an hour and a half.
Oh wow, it's a slope then.
I don't
Hold
see it
on, hold
here.
on. There it is.
Oh, there it is. All right. Hold on.
There we go. And again, these images of these two individuals was in public domain. The families have been notified, and that's why their images are out there for the people in the public to see them and to
Yep.
obviously give the families support. And that is it for that, Bubby.
Okay.
So, what I know so far about the uh, plane crash is that for whatever reason, there's normally two individuals in the control tower. One is to have control of the commercial planes, and the other to have control of any military helicopters, things like that. Okay. Um, what's going on? Here we go. According to the news, the supervisor on duty authorized only one individual to be on duty at that time.
In the
So I'm
tower.
sure in the tower. So I'm
Something's
sure
wrong
there's
there.
going to, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some investigation as to why uh, that decision was made. Um, it's just not right because these pilots,
No,
both
it's
for the
not.
plane and the helicopter, are highly trained. They've flown that particular airport numerous times, and they know exactly how to fly, what pattern to be in, and so forth. So um, we will find out. I did do some research. President Trump got nailed pretty bad by the news people when he mentioned about the DEI hiring practice for the control tower, and uh, how he had, uh, when he was in office, he made it based on the ability of the persons to do the job. He didn't care about the color of skin or religion or whatever, but was the individual qualified to do the job? When he lost the election, the Biden administration put all those uh, um, requirements back to what Obama had when Obama was in the office. I'm going to read just a couple of the um, I won't say the requirements, but if you as a person looking for a job in the control tower, if you had any of these maladies, you would be allowed to be hired for this high pressure, high stress position as a control tower person. Okay, so here we
Hmm.
go. Um, Disability with difficulty hearing. Um,
Nope.
to do sign language. If you have a
Nope.
cochlear implant, um, difficulty seeing even when wearing glasses. Abnormalities like the loss of an arm, a leg, a hand, or a foot. If you were in a wheelchair, if you needed a scooter or a walker to get around. If you had if you're bipolar, schizophrenia, PTSD, major depression, if you had um, speech impairment. Good God, can you imagine speech impairment? You're trying to talk to the pilots in the planes.
No, the speech impediment I can see. Um, Bipolar, it comes down to if you're bipolar and you're either taking your medication or you're taking whatever, however you choose to treat it, whether it's natural or not, and you're in control of yourself most of the time.
Now,
I don't
I
see why you
understand that.
can't be.
There
Why
was a
you can't
movie a
be.
few years back of a airplane crash, and the control tower person had what you're talking about, and she missed her medicine, and she went to work, and she was found out to be not fit because she was having the reaction of not having her medicine.
Yeah,
HIV
right.
positive, AIDS, morbid obesity, um, cardiovascular heart disease. Come on, these
Well,
illnesses.
yeah, I'm right. There are a lot of things that are just, you know, he allowed them before, or Biden allowed them, and some of them are not reasons that you shouldn't. If you weigh a lot, then you got to get a chair that, or they may have to provide you a chair that can support you. Uh, if it's a question of bipolar med and you're sitting at a terminal and you're in a tower with a bunch of other people, they know when it's time for you to take your meds, just like they know at 8 o'clock it's time for me to take my meds. They either hear my alarm or they just say something. So I mean, I don't, you know, if you're taking your meds and yes, you know, then I don't know.
Yeah, the point. I'm getting. Maybe you and I are looking
Okay,
at this from a different aspect. I don't know. What I'm
okay,
looking at here is the obesity, the over the heart, and that sort of stuff. This job is stressful. I mean, you're not
right.
just looking at one plane on your radar screen. You're looking at perhaps dozens at a time, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to know where these planes are, and and all that stuff. Extremely stressful, and if you're obese or have a heart condition, that could bring on a stroke or a heart attack. And you really, I mean, it'd be like going into sports with that type of illness eventually is going to land you flat in your face. Um, uh, uh, I mean, could it be between they're also saying about the night vision goggles that if they were wearing them and the sky was so lit up with light that sometimes the night vision goggles is a detriment to clear eye view. Um, it is hard to say, so we'll have to wait and see what the black boxes indicate because
Right.
they'll show what the elevations
Right.
were and the speed and all that good stuff.
Right.
So,
There.
we'll leave that for now and come back to it later in like maybe a couple of days. Hamas just released
Oh,
8
yeah.
hostages. Okay. Now, did you know what
Yeah.
they got in exchange for those 8 people?
Probably the rest of Joe Biden's bargaining chips at
Uh,
Gitmo because Trump wants to clean it out and use it for what it should
well, I
be
don't know
used
where
for.
they're coming from, but they're for the 8 Israelis who were released. They're getting 110 Palestinian terrorists. 100.
He, I don't know why Congress isn't just jumping in and saying, no, 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 no. We're emptying out our prisons where we're holding people who have come to the United States after they either did crimes before they got here or did crimes while they were here, and we're going to send them home. And sending them home, they're not going to go serve out the rest of their term. They're going to go and do what they did before they came here. And no other country, if they have Hamas prisoners, is freeing up their prisoners to help get anybody else's prisoners released from Hamas. So realistically, no.
Yeah.
It,
Um,
it should be one. It should be
yeah,
one for
exactly.
one,
Exactly.
and based on the level of the person we are trading should be equal to the person that we are getting back. And other than that, we don't, you know, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
What? Wow.
It's time for Trump to get on the phone with Hamas people or whoever, wherever they are, and say, "Go look in the mirror. There's a red dot on your head. Get everybody out of your house, out of your house, out of your building, your office. I don't care. Out of your car right now. Get them all out of your car and follow our instructions. Go stand out in the middle of this field if that's what we tell you to do, and bark like a dog and whatever to prove that you're there. And if you don't do what we tell you to do,
I'm sorry.
it's over. It's over.
Um, uh, Dave, this is your
Go ahead.
choice. I just found a new video of the DC
Okay.
crash from a different angle,
It's up to
and
you.
there's a graphic video.
Okay. Well, we're giving people an opportunity. If you don't want to watch graphic
Yes, please.
video,
Yeah, make the announcement.
then don't look because it's going to get graphic. It's video that we got that anybody else who does news could have gotten and shown. We can't verify that it's 100% true and accurate. We can't verify that it's not 100% accurate, but we're gonna go and put it up. And the only side
Yeah,
I really worry about is the YouTube side. That if YouTube were to decide no, you shouldn't have put it up, then they may spank us and take us
well,
off, spank us and take us off of YouTube.
well,
Okay, okay,
this is a CNN exclusive, so the video is coming from them, so accuracy is probably higher high on it.
okay,
Okay,
okay, okay, okay. All right, all right.
there's the helicopter. That big bright lights the plane.
Wait, wait. All right, all right. I'm going. Let's not go couple with it. So I'm that one off and bring us back. But you got a chance, and you can go back and see the bright light. Like I said, we don't know it. We know it came from CNN, so yeah, it could be accurate. It could not be accurate. I don't really know, but uh,
Either way, it's like Trump and the other people are saying that an accident of this magnitude in the United States has not happened for what 25 years, I think it was. So our abilities to have safe airplane trips is very high. So don't be afraid to get into a
no,
plane, but
no.
please, so whatever you do before you get on that plane, buy that extra life insurance to take care of your family. If anything go wrong. um,
And Michael Anthony says that he has radio transmission. Uh, I'm assuming posted on his page or somewhere where you will be able to go and listen to it. I'm not telling anybody don't listen to it, don't watch it, listen to it, watch it. You have to decide for yourself when these things come up, and you have to decide whether or not you you want to see it. And that's what we did. We didn't have a camera crew there, but if we did, we would have done our best to bring it to you. The radio tower transmissions with both the helicopter and the plane are important to me because
yeah,
I heard supposedly that the helicopter may have been in night mode or whatever, and that the plane may not have been able to see it or know that it's there. And as we seemed to agree last night on Boogie with the Bull Uncensored, that it can be a difficult airport to get into and or get out of. I heard American Airlines, the parent company of the plane, passenger plane, was thinking about moving flights out of there someplace else. Also, you have to look at the makeup of the passengers on the plane. Was it an attack? Then you have to rule in other things. Was it CGI? Just like people think uh, 9/11 was CGI into buildings. So I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff out there, and like Randy said, we don't know. No one's going to get it. No one's going to get any information that the government doesn't want us to have unless you go out and find it. And
Yeah, it's one of the happy, sad things of this is that, on the plane you had the ice skaters from Russia as well as from Kansas. Um, One of the ice skaters had a pet dog. I'm not sure what breed it was, but he was to be on that plane. But the doggy was a couple pounds overweight, and the airline prevented him from getting on the plane with his doggy. So he is a surviving member of the ice skating rink. I think it's from the people from Kansas. So we need to watch after him because he may have maybe could suffer from survivor's remorse, being the only the team member to survive. So we had hopefully the family watched over him for a while, make sure he stays, mentally
I hope,
fit.
I hope,
Um,
I hope he doesn't. I hope anybody that was supposed to be on that plane or associated with the people that were on that plane has
yeah.
not necessarily remorse because they were on it and you weren't, but at least is able to deal with, for lack of putting it better, sometimes shit happens. You know,
As of this morning, I heard that they had recovered all but 20 some bodies from the river, so they're still trying to find the rest. They might have found them by now. It's been a few hours, so I don't know. Moving on to something better, a little bit happier. So Trump is starting to thin out the federal government's budget. So in in true Trump mode, he sent out emails to 2.3 million federal employees saying that bye bye. He's offering them an opportunity to accept a, uh, a exit strategy where they'll get some benefits, get some money for I think it was like 6 months or 8 months. Uh, but if they did not accept that, they're going to get nothing. Uh, he also fired the inspector general for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
yeah,
Apparently, she went out by force because she refused to acknowledge his authority to fire her. So they sent the security in to forcibly remove her from her office. I would have loved to have seen that. Um, although,
I want to see it just because everybody's running around saying she was forced out of the office, and it's been my experience going back to when we were doing security and we escort staff that no longer work there. Most of the time, they just grab out, and then they feel stupid that a bunch of security people have to make sure they leave the building, make sure they get their dues so that they can't get back in. The more embarrassing thing was staffers go and to the point that their badges, Secret Service had to interrupt their day of protecting everyone at the White House to go open the gates to let people out. I don't have a problem with a president deciding or anybody. There are rules that I guess you have to follow for people. So that's between you and the people that you fire. It wouldn't make sense to decommission, turn off anybody's badges to the building until they're out of the building and you have taken the badge from them. Uh, but most people, like I said, to go without any problem. We did a big thing with Dr. Hospital once, and all of the doctors had said to us before they fired, they were coming to this meeting to understand that they were going to get fired to meet with our get their goodie bag for the way out, but they were all pretty going out. Why? Because they all had jobs someplace else anyway. Uh,
I used to work for a security company called Commonwealth Security here in Lancaster County. It was independently owned by Patrick Egan. It was the largest independently owned security company in the state. Uh, it's a very good company. When you were going to lose your job, and you were, let's just say you were off or you were coming into your shift, so you weren't on staff or at that point in time, they would deactivate your access card into the building or into the gate that gets you into the parking lot.
right.
So that was your first clue. Um, the second clue was a box sitting at your desk, waiting for you to put all your personal stuff into it. And then they had a
Okay.
security guard walk you out the door.
Walk you out, and you
Yeah,
didn't need your badge to get out because the security guard had.
correct.
And like I said, most of the time I did it or we did it. It was just making sure they got out of the safely. We didn't follow them to the
Right,
cars unless they asked us to. We didn't, you know, say, I'm sorry, but we have to escort you out of the building. We have to make sure we have your badge. Can't attempt to get back in the building.
correct. Here's here's a sad story. I was a manager at this company. I was manager of the one Central Station. He had two stations inside the same building. I was the manager of the one. And the policy was if you're going to relieve someone of their duties, fire them. It took two managers, okay, to tell this person, and you had to do it in a private setting. So there's this one young
Yeah.
lady that I had hired, very capable of doing her job, okay, uh, and but she had medication that she would take to help calm her down. And
Okay.
and she took it, and I said, as long as you take your medication, I have no problems. And so she said, fine. So one day, the
Mhm.
owner, Patrick Egan, came into the central station, and he happened to see her. Now, she wasn't the prettiest of females, but she wasn't the ugliest either. She kind of like in the middle.
All right.
So the owner went to my manager and said to him, "Tell Randy to get rid of her. I don't like the way she looks." Right. So my manager came to me
Yep.
and he said, "Randy, you have to fire her." And I said, "Why?" I said, "She has not done anything wrong. She comes to work every day. She does a very good job. Why am I firing her?" Patrick does not like the way she looks. And I said, "Well, wait a minute. Are you telling
I,
me that because she's not pretty, I have to fire her?" And he said, "Yes, but don't use that reason. You got to find some other reason to fire her, Randy. You can't use that."
no, you can't do that.
So
You can't do that. You got to.
So
Yeah.
one day she forgot to take her medication and she came into work and she was wired, right? And she made a couple mistakes, and that was the reason I gave. So I called her into the meeting room along with my manager because it required two managers, right? And
Mhm.
uh, he wanted me to be the one to tell my employee you're fired, and I just couldn't do it because I knew it was wrong. And I'm looking at her, we're
But
talking, and she thinks something's going on. She says she's getting a little bit nervous. And I looked at him, and he knew I was not going to say those words. And he gave me this look like, I'm going to kill you after we're done here. And he said to her, "You're fired." And she went running out the door, screaming and crying all the way out of the building, right? And
but
go ahead.
but that's when if Patrick actually said she's ugly, I don't want her working for me, and it was me. I would have looked at Patrick and I would have said, then you go find because she works for me in a
Oh,
central station.
that
Nobody sees her. They only hear her voice. She does her job. She doesn't have any complaints. I don't have any complaints. She takes her medication like she's supposed to. Occasionally, yes, she slips up, But and I remembered that she had to take medication every day, or else by 3 o'clock in the morning she'd be on the phone with her at 7:55 every night, saying, "Stop what you're doing. I don't care what it is. Stop what you are doing right now. Take your medication." Or I'd be in sign that she did it in front of me, and if there
Yeah.
has to be two people, another person, and then I would have gone to Patrick and I would have said, she does forget to take her medication every once in a while. That messes it up, but I'm willing to make sure she doesn't. And that's my physical looks. They don't see her on a video conference. They don't see
Exactly.
her in.
Exactly.
They only hear her voice. And believe it or not, knowing me, I would eventually take her to luncheons with clients and say, or bring the client in and go, "Hey, this is the person behind the
Yeah.
voice thing."
Yeah.
The clients aren't going to say, "Oh, she's ugly." Hey, was she on the phone the night my client broke into? She
Exactly.
called the police. They got
Exactly.
the guy. Everything, boom. Yeah, because then in front of and I are alone, I fire her because she's ugly. You go ahead and leave. She's going to sue you for whatever she can. You're going to lose whatever you can. But as far as I'm concerned, when they call me up to testify, the company,
Uh,
she's ugly. I fire because of something that happened.
you know what he did later, a few years later. Um, he sold the company to a national garbage chain, which happened to be owned by the Russian mob. Okay, I forget what the name of the company was, but they were 100% owned by the Russian mob, and he sold the company, and he thought he had it all worked out to where he was going to stay with his company in a high position with a nice paycheck. Well, what happened was they came in and they fired him soon after they bought the company. And but you know what? But he somehow managed to get copies, digital copies of all of his customers, and he went to a bank, got the money, started up a new company called Select Security, and he contacted all these customers of his, and he managed to get half of them to stay with him.
You have to make sure that you sign any non-compete. Although most of the time the judges tend to throw it out if someone signs a non-competing clause. Like I managed, it was the limousine service. Drivers had to sign an agreement that they would not go after the customers for a year and a half. And the judges, friends of mine that were judges would just say, that's not really possible, because if Randy goes and talks to Joe Doofus Brothers, and he's not going to tell you I heard from Randy. He's say Randy Randy Rhodes. He's just going to say we're changing better company. But it's kind of six and one, and a half dozen of the other for obvious reasons that it's probably not worth
Let me ask you.
not worth.
Here's a question for you.
My
Uh,
shirt wouldn't be the only red shirt on my body today.
the people think that Tulsi Gabbard might have screwed herself over. One of the questions she was asked was, uh, "Do you think that Edward Snowden should have been classified as a traitor?" Apparently, she was one of the authors of the paperwork to get him a pardon, and so the Republicans think this might be a problem for her because she pardoned him instead of labeling him a traitor.
you either have to stand up and label right then and there and hold true to it if that is really how you feel because you did, and then all of a sudden when you're going to become secretary or advisor of something, all of a sudden turn around and go, no, he's a traitor. Just because you want the job. So I mean, it's kind of hard. I don't think I could judge, just like I don't think I could become president because you
So
know,
here we are, what, 2 weeks into the new presidency, and the war is still going on in Ukraine. What do you think is causing uh, the there's no pause. There's no pause in the fighting. There's no treaty in place. I thought it was going to be he comes in and he puts an end to it. What's going on?
Zelensky has understood the money has stopped or it's been away, but pretty much it's stopped. I think the problem is Trump intervenes, it's going to look like Russia won, which they basically, and then if he won, he wants to go after Zelensky for everything he can. He wants to go after Biden for war crimes because Biden funded the war. There were any Russians in Ukraine that got killed. Uh, I mean, to me, the whole thing is just a mess. I wish, you know what? Let's just agree to live together. But what you need to do on your side of the border, we'll do what we need to do on our side of the border. And it doesn't, as long as we directly, let's just coexist. But it's just not going to happen anymore because now everybody wants to go back to whatever the Bible said before the dawn of time. And so, you know, uh, and then it gets me topics that usually lead to arguments, to like evidently the king of Denmark has increased the Greenland defense budget by $2 billion. I don't know what he to increase Greenland, but he has. To me, why would he do that if he's not thinking about selling it? You know, and why should he? Why should he sell it? Then you get over to Canada, and Justine Castro has stepped down. Who is running the country now? I don't know. People that you talk to don't seem to want it to happen. You tell me.
Yeah. Did you see that Trump got $25 million from Zuckerberg for him kicking him off of Facebook?
Yes, yeah, and I think it should have been a lot more. But the problem is that now Trump got 25 million. Eventually, if people do it and they don't just go in there at crazy amounts of money, the individual amounts of money are either going to force Facebook to make changes and or they're just going to keep millions, millions, maybe even into the billions at a time until they can't afford to operate the company. And I'm not looking for it to go away. I'm really not. I'm just looking for them. Everybody else has to follow.
Yeah, yeah. I think the fact
You know,
that Trump got his 25 million is going to open up the door for others to sue Zuckerberg as well, who was kicked off. I think it was CBS.
probably.
CBS, I believe it was, just announced that they have come to an agreement to pay off the lawsuit that Trump has against them as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trump's getting ready to, get so the money from Zuckerberg. $22 million of it is going to building his library, and $3 million going to pay for the
Mhm.
legal fees. So you get the money from CBS. I think it's CBS. Eventually, he's going to have enough money to have a really nice library, and it didn't cost him a damn penny.
Well, look at it as a 22 donation from Meta. I
Yeah, there you go.
still think that still think that Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, did more than kiss. He kissed whatever he had to to continue this claim, whether or not it's a far Biden administration, the Department of Homeland Security, government agencies forced him to do what he was doing. And Jack Dorsey over at Twitter when he the same thing, only because Mark Zuckerberg told him to do it. But no, or at least we didn't hear about admitting that they did. So, we need each other around for a bit, realize it was wrong, and then pick up and move on. Nobody left people that that claim they got booted off or did actually get booted off, whether or not they were is between them and Facebook. But I mean, realistically, I'm obsessed too much. At least I obsess too much on Facebook. I'm at the point now. If a bean counter at Facebook added up from all the times that I have been suspended, all the times that I have been fact checked illegally, times that groups have been closed, and all this other crap, came to me and said, "We owe you 175." I would probably just say, 63 years old, give me $100 million plus you pay the taxes on it. Because the problem is, if I had that $100 million, then I'm probably going to walk away from Facebook. Things that I wanted to do that you probably wouldn't see me here that much.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know of any other social media platform that I can use to do what I do with genealogy. I mean, all my clients were found on Facebook. They're members of Facebook, and that's how I communicate. What I find. So I don't know what else is out there that my clients would make use of, or new clients would make use of, to where I could communicate to. Here's one for you. Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida is proposing a bill to get this, add Trump's face to Mount Rushmore.
I don't. I have mixed emotions about it because, yeah, you can claim that Trump's face belonged on there when they built it. The for their right to be on it, so that's why the person who did it put his face on. Could you put Trump's face on top of the rest of them? Yeah. Could you modify it in any other way? Maybe not. Uh, Everybody feels that it needs to be something that big, then maybe somewhere in Washington, D.C., like you walk into the huge chair. Maybe you have to do something somewhere for Trump. The more important thing, or the more interesting, behind the scenes, it seems that there was a Republican, I don't know if it was in the House, who is pushing something that would allow a term, but I guess you have to have a year. It's like Trump could serve this term, but he'd have to take the next term off, and then he could come back in 2029, or excuse me, in 20. It's like Trump. So I don't know how. I don't quite know how it works. no one's ever asked to me that if everybody thinks won the 2020 election, fighting to get him to make up for the term that he didn't get 2020 to 2020. Everybody seems that they want to sweep it under and and just go on. And I haven't asked Michael Anthony, I haven't asked Slider, I haven't asked Jerry, I haven't asked Nikki. I just haven't really thrown it out to agree that he didn't get a term as president. So besides paying his presidential pension, you know, continued from 2020 to 20. But you know, it seems one day this is what we want to do, the next day this is what we want to do. Then I back, like I said, go, why didn't we think about doing this? We, we just need to forget about that and go on to the future. And I'm like, well, go on to the future, work out what caused this, and hope that we never have this happen again. But so I do. But I did ask you to lead through. So you, for the time that you have here, Michael watching, Craig Peterson was watching. Friday views are kind of a little off as far as the live views go because it's the start of the weekend and here at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I I understand. If you want to say hello to Bill Muckler if he happens to watch this, and,
Well, that's right. Groundhog Day's coming up soon.
Groundhog Day is coming up.
Yeah.
My mother's 80th birthday came up the 29th of this month. Two birthdays in February, sister's birthdays, my brother's birthday, and then yeah. So interesting
Yeah,
times.
the one thing though bad about the idea of Trump's face on Mount Rushmore, all those guys there are dead. Um, were their faces put there or started on the Mount Rushmore while they're still living, or they have to die first to get their faces on Mount Rushmore?
I honestly don't know. And if Trump has to before his face goes up there, then I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Think, I think the Trump library, when all the talking is done and it's built wherever it's going to be, even if it's down in Florida, Mar-a-Lago, is probably the nicest presidential library so far. Not with what happens there or in there, but I just think you're going to walk into a shrine to President Trump, and he might deserve it. But you know, I don't. I often wonder if one president decides he has to outspend the next they build their library.
So here's an update on the crash by an eyewitness who was driving. Uh, she indicated that um, I looked back and the plane was banked all the way to the right. It was illuminated yellow underneath, and there was a spray of sparks on the underside. Security video released shortly after confirms what she saw, uh, and that the plane was very, very close to the ground, banked all the way to the right. So maybe the plane was experiencing some problems.
Yeah, could very well be. It's
Uh,
it's one of those things that it's very easy to sit here and conspiracy single thing that we can sometimes, and then other times it's hard to say to America, meaning anybody who is listening or will watch this, that we just have to sit back wait for the reports to come out, forget, and to America. Because I read that the Black Hawk might have been in some kind of stealth mode or a mode where the plane might not have been able to see. And if that's the case, then I want to know from whoever owns the plane why it was doing that. Was there something wrong with that flight, the passenger flight? Was there a reason to be there? Did the pilot of the helicopter get an order from somebody, shoot down the plane? They weren't going to do it, so they blew up the plane and blew up the and caused it to crash into the plane. You know, there are just so many questions and stuff like this, and it's the wrong
Yeah.
time because it's somebody trying to flex their muscle and show. If we don't do what they who, then they're just gonna show us that they are still in charge.
I hate you know I
No,
I hate to admit I miss being in the Air Force. Um, and it kind of ticks me off that I didn't have the opportunity to uh, uh, ask for a different position. I mentioned before how I was diagnosed with mitral valve prolapse, and the day they were supposed to be doing gas mask training for combat, um, they pulled me out and said, "You're done. We got a medical report that you have this, blah blah blah." I mean, there are hundreds of other jobs that I could have, uh, you know, done. But I guess because that going into the Air Force, the job that was chosen for me was working in air cargo, and because of that, my expertise couldn't be transferred to another position. But yeah, it's just sad. I would have loved to stay in, but
it is.
you know,
It is. It is. I mean, I thought about going into the Marines. I never did because I knew at the time that I got part of basic training. I'm a hothead at me. I might one day yell back. Uh, uh, I've met people over the years that were Marines who said, if you made it through boot camp, you would have been a career Marine. And I said, well, what do you mean? They said, well, maybe Lieutenant Colonel. And then people seem to tell me all the time that once you in the Marines, you're more of a politician than you are a Marine. That was the case, that I probably would have just retired. But Good Morning Vietnam, Robin's movie, God rest his soul, would have been about me if I had gone in. Although it was that he went in, and it might have been 100% the same, but to have gotten that job, and I don't care if they had sent me to work, but I always feared through me and a Russian just looking at each other, going, everybody else is dead. If I kill you, you're dead
mhm.
myself. If you kill me, you're dead and all by yourself. So why don't we just enjoy what we have until God takes it away from us?
Yeah.
And we reignite the planet again. And maybe we reignite it differently. They think we're the kings. Oh, but I would never want to be a king like that.
You
You know,
know, I love National Geographic stuff, and because of it, my feed will show videos and so forth of that topic. And right now, on our planet, there are two areas where the the continent is split in half. One is in Africa. It's split in half, and a new ocean is starting to form. And the other one is in India, where it's starting to split
Mm-hmm.
the continent. So our planet is still in flux. It's still moving. Now, obviously, you and I won't see the creation of these new continents because it doesn't. It's not like the planet is splitting many feet at a time every day. It's a very slow process, but at some point there's going to be new continents on this planet. I think that's probably why Elon Musk is pushing to uh, get a colony on Mars and to start getting that prepared and he's saying 1 million people. I wonder why only 1 million, but it's just his dime. But uh, I wonder what the requirements would be to get on board his ship to fly to Mars and live there.
You can't be fat.
What?
I'm sorry, that was very rude.
Know what you say?
Nothing.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't be you can't be large.
Oh,
I'm just so ticked off about
oh,
stuff like
Jesus!
that. There, there was an Uber,
Yes,
not an
yes.
Uber,
Thank
a
you. I was
Lyft
just going to say that.
driver. The lady was very large, and every excuse under the sun because he's in her car, in his car, and it's going to cost him and Lyft a lot of money because you can't just and I'm not going to take you.
But have you seen
That
her?
part I don't want.
Have you
Yeah, I saw
seen her?
her.
Now, come on now.
Mhm.
Most of these lift cars are nice. They're subcompact. They're passenger cars. There is no way in hell she was getting inside of a car. Now, an SUV where you
She
lift up
said
the
she
back, it's
right, but well, no, not an SUV when you put her in because there's no seatbelts back there. Number one, but number two, that she had been and used other Lyft cars. So when it goes to court, her attorney have all of that in his head to say to her, read the dates, and
yeah,
the jury's going to
okay.
see that she has.
But these cars are personally owned. Doesn't the owner of that car have the
But
right to choose who he picks up? I mean, does she? When
you
they,
don't,
I don't know how that whole thing works, but does
okay,
she
you
have?
don't, okay, you don't have a right unless real justified reason. And the fact that you think it is not evidently a real just
Okay, but
reason.
come on.
And the privately owned argument reason that I don't buy it is that I was in the transportation business managing companies that had privately owned fleets that did Lyft and Uber, and I've done it in my cars, and you know I would never have told a customer mine her size. I'd have said to her, I can get the same no a car that I think you will be more here in a few moments. You won't be late to where you're going. And in the future, that car, because it will be a doesn't have a problem, or is more comfortable with that situation, and that's the end of it. But the problem with Lyft and Uber, like you said, the vehicles, they're privately owned vehicles by people who have no experience or private transportation industry, and they want to make money. They don't know what they're doing. 90% of the time, they get lost 100% of the time. So to me, it's not even so much providing the person wants because you just don't know how to provide the service that that you want. And to me, I understand they don't make a whole lot of money. Well, you agree to do Uber or Lyft. If you're not making enough money for you to, it's just like anything else. Go get a job.
The woman is
You want to drive
489.
people around. Yeah.
She's 489 pounds. Um, he offered her. Apparently, there's a Uber XL for larger people that he offered
Right. But
to call for her.
being rude. But he was being rude. Basically meant was they could open the tailgate and you could stuff yourself the back of the tailgate and go to wherever you're going. He didn't say anything about going in through the middle door. There's one seat in the middle row that folds so that you can get into the back seat so that you can't do that. My thing is that I would have just said to him, go do whatever you want. I'm not going to fire you. Just go. I would have found that I would have called someone I knew and said, come get her. And from you, and you will bill her. And if you have a problem that you can't anymore for whatever reason you have, let me know, and I'll make sure I get someone else to do it. I will do it. I mean that's just the way I am. And I would have made sure if I really wanted to, I would have been able to handle her, regardless of her size. I mean,
Yeah. This lady is a rapper, so I mean, so she has a
yeah, well,
she's going to wind up being a filthy rich woman, and maybe perhaps she can afford her own damn car and a driver, and in the process, I don't know.
well, maybe she
I
will.
mean,
Maybe she
you have
will.
to take consideration.
But
Your car. The air pressure in your car is designed for the weight of your car and ex passengers. $489
right.
a pound person sitting on the left side has the potential of hurting your struts, hurting your springs, hurting your tires.
What if
Damaging your
she sits
seat.
in the? I
I know.
I understand what you're saying. The problem is that, like I said, a Lyft driver is not experienced in really what to say. They don't want you because you're a big fat blob in my.
Unfortunately, he lives in a state that being obese is protected by law, so he's screwed no matter what.
Oh no, he lives in a country where being obese by law. And my advice would have been to Uber and Lyft. Maybe you need to have a Uber that is capable of picking up someone like
Well, that's why he
different
offered. That's why he
way
offered to call
of
the other
connecting.
car because they have Uber XL.
But but okay, people. I couldn't have put her probably the the Ford Freestyle that I had is a crossover SUV. I she could have gotten through the door, but and that car is not designed to be in the middle seat a load like that. But I wouldn't have a load like that if she had said to me, "I've used Uber, I've used Lyft before. There seems to be a problem." If she said how much I weigh, I would have gone in and looked at and said, "Hey, can you tell me drivers that have with their cars before and don't have any problem?" If they said yes, then you make sure those people pick them up. It's the same thing because drivers will say you can't smoke in the car. If you have a cigarette in your hand, they give you a chance to throw it away. They just don't want to pick you up. If you want to make a stop, if you say I'm going to Plaza and halfway River City Plaza, that you to go into the gas station, right? A lot of them will say, no, I took the job because this is where it's up you. I have to be someplace
Uh,
else. Well, that's not what I do when I'm out of your car. I'm concerned with what you're doing while I'm in your Uber and Lyft rules. But you know what? It's a whole big field earlier. Most of them don't have the experience to be doing what they're doing. They don't have the understanding, explain calmly, and rather than just saying, I have tired tires. Because,
let's take it a different way. Let's say she was going to get on an airplane, and she only paid for one seat, and she gets on the plane, and obviously she is so obese that she requires two seats to safely and securely sit in that plane. Uh,
but,
I've seen
but
where,
that's different.
but I've,
Though the airline doesn't come out and say to you while you're in that middle seat, take you out, give you some dignity, explain to you that you can't do, and they give you options, and they will have had tickets for the next that could accommodate you taking up the whole customer who used to go to New York all the time to go to visit his radio station in New York. He got to him even when he bought all three seats until he lost weight and he only needed two of them. But even after doing what they told him to do, they would say, well, the flight is sold out. We really need both seats around you. The flight is sold out. We really need the other seat. You'll be able to get out of your seat because of the person's left, and all. But, if you can't accommodate, then you politely explain to them, I cannot accommodate you. If you want to suggest that you call Uber XL, that's just wrong. I would have said, the Uber customer support number for to call and talk to a person. I suggest you call and talk to a person who has any problem with the fact, or Lyft has any problem with the fact that I said I can't serve, talk to me, and they will discipline me. Be doing this anymore if that's what happens. These people that are doing it are only focused on the pennies that they make. They're not concerned with how to treat people in tough situations. That's all I'm saying. They're not, you have to give a person the dignity that you deserve. And this, unfortunately,
yeah.
Uber and Lyft need to update that if certain weight limit, you might want to consider moving up to this class or this car enough to a car of this size that you can get yourself into it. I mean, it's you know
Hmm.
Uber
What year is
and Lyft
2032?
are concerned with making money. Uber and Lyft are concerned with making. The drivers are concerned with making money, and they don't really care how they make money. It's business when check out. She probably could have very comfortably got into a cab and been taken anywhere she without really any
Okay,
problem.
so here's some future news for you and I. I assume that you and I will both be alive in seven
Okay,
years. So year 2032, uh,
I hope so.
an asteroid named 2024 YR4, what's the hell of a name, stands a uh, has a 1 in 83 chance of hitting Earth with the equivalent of 500 Hiroshima bombs. While not an extinction level threat, an impact could devastate a major city and reshape the conversation on planetary defense. So we have 7 years to figure out how to destroy that asteroid.
It's not a threat. It's going to take you out in 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Go figure that logic.
So the choice, right? So the choice that we made in 7 years, and on the 2020 to 23rd of a bunch of us plan, there that would be on
Yeah.
schedule, 2 years ahead of schedule. Uh,
Yeah.
I, I I guess the right answer is yeah. We need to start about it. We need to start
Yeah.
doing something. Do we start shooting lasers into
I don't know.
to it in outer
That's a
space? Do we,
that's a job
do
for
we fly
Space
things
Force.
into outer space?
So for here's
Yep.
another way of looking at it for those of you who buy lottery tickets. So for comparison, the odds of winning the Powerball jackpot are 1 in 292 million. Uh, the 2024 YR4 hidden Earth is millions of times more likely than win a lottery, which means we're more likely to be hit by that asteroid as opposed to winning the lottery ticket before we die. 7 years.
Or I'm going to win that lottery, but we're all going to die.
I wonder if they know how it's tracking as far as what area it's going to hit.
Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, oh, thanks. I love you too.
Yeah, I
God.
don't. I don't.
Yeah,
I
it'd
don't.
be interesting to see what. Be interesting. Okay, so we do have
Well, if the,
a space defense thing called DART. It's designed to redirect asteroid. Hey, I didn't name it. It's designed to redirect asteroids headed towards Earth. Um, but it's not 100% in operation. So we got 7 years to figure this one out, guys. So I'll be what? Good Lord, how am I? I'll be 74 years old. Um, God,
I'll be 70.
oh, shut up. Um, so,
But the scary thing about it is, say they hit it in the right spot, it all just breaks up, and there's no problem. And that shower of asteroid screws us all up, and that's it.
I don't know. I don't know. Yes, well, it is 11:12. I'm gonna get going here.
Yep.
I gotta get some things
Yep.
done. Um, but it's
Okay.
been enjoyable. We talked a
Right.
lot, but talked about a lot of things.
We're
Let's keep our
good.
military.
We're good.
Yeah, we do. Let's keep the military in our prayers because there's a lot of things going on yet that could still happen. You got Trump who wants to take back the Panama Canal. You got Trump who wants to take over Canada, possibly even Mexico. We got the cartel going on there, shooting at our soldiers. So there's a lot of
Yep.
flux going on that's going to affect a lot of people, I think, and we just got to be aware of the situation. And
Yep.
folks, it wouldn't hurt to, I don't know, perhaps store up, store up on food, canned goods, boxed goods, things like that, just in case. We need to hunker down and uh, do what we can not to eat our cats.
Yep.
But yeah, so
No, please
this is Randy from All Roads
don't
Lead
eat
on
your cats.
Genealogy. I have 2 spots left on my calendar for people who are interested in finding um, their ancestors. I'll be taking on another client, a little bit different. He wants confirmation that his wife's ancestor was actually on the wagon trail heading out west. I guess there's a family lure going on, and he wants proof of it. So it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to have to research the whole Oregon Trail thing, the list of people who actually were in the wagons going out west. But I do different things, and this is one of them. So reach out to me.
Doesn't doesn't it doesn't it hurt one who would have to sit them all down? She got here 15 minutes late, and she missed it.
Yeah. I mean, as it turns out,
Yeah.
the lore of the story is that she had this ancestor had a sister who was born and died while in transit out west. Uh, I did find I did find evidence. I just got of this person actually exists. I just got to find evidence that that person was on that wagon going out west, and what trail they took. So that'd be a challenge there, but worthwhile working on.
Yep.
So, Dave, take care.
All right, Randy. Always a
Yep.
pleasure.
See ya.
Always a pleasure. Work on my chart when you get a
Oh,
chance because there might be some famous people.
yeah, I've been working on it, in my free time. I've been doing this and that.
I know you have.
I've been
I know you have. I know you have. Yep. All right, Randy. Randy Road Allergy Services. Go to the original All Roads. I remember if you can go to the All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy Group, RHODES, RHODES. That's a big problem, and Randy will tell you more about that. Tomorrow is Saturday. There may or may not be a Saturday morning boogie with the bull. I haven't decided yet. Yes, I'm messing over lots of things on Facebook right now, and just a lot of stuff on my plate that has to be taken care of. I enjoy going to Threads as well. You can see me at Boogie WT Bull. See me at shifted to WT Bull. I'm over on Gab. I think I'm Dave Globin. I know on Truth Social. A bunch of others. I'm Dave Globin, and that's all I. That's all I can tell you. Keep your eyes and ears open for Michael Anthony. Go to the Anthony Facebook page, become his friend, and keep an ear for his studio talks, 10 o'clock talks, and American Disclosing, American Disclosing, and watch and pay attention. You might learn something. You might want to learn something. And that's about all I have to say there. Go to the American Rebellion on Facebook tonight at 7 p.m. Catch the American Rebellion with Jerry Michaels, Nikki Young, Robert is there a lot. Chuck Cook is there if he can be. I can be. Sometimes it is, sometimes it is not. Sometimes it is political and not. Sometimes and political. Just go there, be a part of the conversation. Come on. A lot of times, if you ask him politely, and I think that's about all there is to say. Let me hit this really fast. Get rid of rights. They are on the take. That's a very thing that will probably get sent out. But we need Patriots. That's the new group that a bunch of us admins and dedicated moderators and dedicated members of the group are working hard to kind of grow. It's also a bunch of others that I will make sure you see on Facebook as well. And I'm glad to see my friend Art Sessa is back around and be on Facebook. Things that he does. So thank you, Art. And I'm looking over to see who else, people that I am forget well. And if I did, then yell at me and I'll remember you the next time. But anyway, double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. You've been watching Boogie with the Bull, Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. and the American Rebellion. Go out there and make it a great day. And thank Comcast for the internet not crapping out. And if you did crap out, please let me know. Best to try to fix it. So let me know. And there was one other thing to tell you, but I forgot. Anyway, go out there and make it a great day. Finish your coffee.